it's Jen with Enjoy Clean Wine, and I'm here with Anna today.
Hi.
We are going to talk about health and beauty and just overall healthy lifestyle because Anna believes in a healthy lifestyle and believes beauty's part of that. And hold on, I just lost my question.
We're outside, and so it's a little windy, but it's gorgeous today, so we wanted to take advantage of that. So.
Yeah, we definitely, well, I figured why not be outside? It really is a stunning day. We had some rain yesterday, and now having this, I'm like, you should be outside.
Definitely.
I feel like that's good for your mental well-being to be outside as much as possible.
Absolutely.
So.
Yes, for sure.
So why is health and wellness important to you?
So health and wellness has always sort of been important to me from the time I was younger. I was the kid, this is kind of funny, so I was the kid that in gym class would like run and hide during the mile. I hated
I gotta see in gym. I can relate to this. Yeah.
I despised it. I was like, oh my gosh, no. And I thought that I had asthma and I thought I had all this stuff. And I just wasn't into it. I was a cheerleader, I was a dancer, but I wasn't into like athletics or yeah. And so then as I got older, I started running and I like ran half marathons and stuff. So it was sort of the opposite of that. And then I became a personal trainer. And it's sort of like my health journey evolved. And then as I got older, I realized that you can't outrun what you eat.
It's true.
Especially in your 30s. You know, I used to go through Taco Bell drive-thru at 2 a.m. And, you know, when you get older, not only can you not sustain that, but like you don't feel good either. And so then that sort of took me on a journey of like, what I was eating and all of that. And so it was more of a full picture of like health and wellness and everything. And I just think, you know, you have one life, you have one body. And so you have to be as good to it as possible. That doesn't mean like cutting out everything that you enjoy, but it means moderation and just listening to your body and taking care of it as best as you can, you know? And as I became a mother, I was like, oh boy, I really have to take care of myself because if I get sick or hurt myself or whatever, like...
Yeah, people are relying on you. When being a mom, it's like you don't get a day off. There's no, I'm sure a lot of you moms can relate, like you just don't. So the better you can like preventatively take care of yourself on an ongoing basis, it just makes sense.
Absolutely.
Your story is interesting too because I was the opposite. Like I found health through food where you started, I guess, like exercise. Is that what you... Is that what you said?
Yep.
So I feel like there is that component of like you start with what you know how to do, but you kind of need all the components to make it work.
Yeah.
Like it's not just one thing.
Right. I mean, and you know, a lot of people think health is a size, that if you're skinny, you're healthy, and that's not the case. You know, I have been thinner and way less healthy than I am now, and I think it's just a matter of like nourishing your body with foods that serve you and moving your body every day and having good habits for yourself and for your family because they see you and what you're putting in and on your body and moving your body and all of that, and it's just setting a good example. That's also really important.
Yeah, you're the ultimate role model for like your well, and like you need the, I don't know, so being a personal trainer and working with all different types of people and types of personalities and stuff, like what kind of challenges came up with that? Like what were like roadblocks that people hit?
I think a lot of it's mental.
Okay.
And
I would agree, 100%.
Yes, and I think, you know, with you and your coaching background, like you probably agree, people think they can't do it. They think it's too hard. They put up all the roadblocks before they ever even get started, and then they'll say, I don't like exercise. And the reality is you haven't found something that you love to do, you know?
100%. There's so many different forms of movement.
Yeah, and even if you're playing, I mean, we're sitting in front of a trampoline here. Like, if that's what's fun for you, like, do it. Move your body. Find what works. And the same with food. Like, if you don't like kale, you don't have to eat kale, but there's plenty of delicious food that you can eat, you know.
I love that. Variety, bring in the variety, bring in what makes you feel satisfied and joyful, and it can be done healthfully.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely like the the internal dialogue is a huge thing. You know, I use this analogy sometimes, like, people don't want it bad enough. Like, when I was pregnant, I didn't think twice about giving up drinking.
Oh.
You know?
So, yes, that's a great analogy. Okay.
Yeah.
Expand on that.
Yeah, but if you, so, you know, I work a lot with people doing like a 30 days to healthy living program where you have to cut out a few foods for 30 days just to help your body sort of recuperate and heal, and then you can add things back in. And I think when you tell people you can't have alcohol for 30 days, it's like, well, you just don't want it bad enough, you know?
You can do anything for 30 days.
Yeah.
You really can.
Yeah. And telling yourself, like, I can do that. Like, that's easy. You know, when I gave up alcohol for a year, I didn't think twice about it because that's what you do.
And you had the long-term vision and, like, you saw the end result of a healthy baby. So, like, looking at any kind of protocol or any kind of program or anything that you're doing to help yourself, like, look at the end game. Like, you're doing it for a healthy body, a healthy mind. Anna was just saying her grandmother was in town and she's 85 and she's going to the Omega Institute to have an intuition, like, or
an intuition class. She's doing a class all week on intuition. And
who doesn't want to be 85 and like running around and doing things like that? Like,
well,
that's amazing.
yeah. Well, and ultimately, you know, she's definitely my role model, my idol. She still works. She's a counselor. She's an author. She teaches mindfulness and mind body classes, and she lives in Colorado, which is where we moved here from. And she's amazing. And she's like, I want to do this intuition workshop. And I was like, let's do it. You know, you should do it.
Yeah.
And so she came out. I drove her up to New York, and she's there by herself, you know, with all kinds of people. And she's staying in a cabin, and she does yoga in the morning. And I just love, like, never stop learning. You know, she could be sitting in a rocker like, I'm 85, I'm good, I've learned everything I wanted to learn. And I think that really keeps you young too. Like,
do you think having her as the role model helped kind of like put those seeds in you? Like, do you think it's important for people to see people doing well, or putting yourself around people that have the same goals as you? Anything like that?
And I think just knowing it's possible, you know. She's always lived a pretty healthy lifestyle, and it's very important to her to have, you know, a balanced life and a full life with friends and, you know, clean eating and exercise and all of those things. And so I think that's really important, you know, as you get older, to just not stop. Just, and that's the thing with fitness and also with healthy eating. People think there's an end date. Yeah, there's no end date.
Sorry.
You know?
But it's for a good reason. Like, we want lifestyle here.
It is.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, because, you know, the healthier you are, the better you're setting yourself up for a lifetime of health and wellness, and to be able to have choices and do things and go to the Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York when you're 85. I mean, like, it's amazing.
Pretty cool. So what would you give advice as, like, one thing someone could do today to kind of make a switch? Or, you know, they've been saying it for the last month. Okay, Monday, because today's Monday, I'm going to start a diet, or I'm going to start this, or whatever you've been saying, I'm going to keep, you know, what can they do? One thing.
I would just say get started.
Don't even think about it, just do it.
Like, analysis paralysis is probably something that is, like, the worst thing for people. They overthink it.
Especially women. Do you guys do that? Who's watching? Emily. Hi, Emily. Jessica. Do you guys do that? Are you guys overthinker? Put a hand up if you're an overthinker. Because women can do that.
Women, I think, well, I'm guilty of this with a lot of things. I have to, like, write it out on my calendar, and then I have to think about how I'm going to do it, and then maybe, like, what am I going to wear for that, and then how am I going to, you know, how am I going to fit it in? Like, it's a beautiful day. Go for a walk. Or, you know, make healthy choices for lunch. I mean, you don't have to do all of it all at once. It's about, like, deciding that, that you want to take a step in the right direction. For me, like, the biggest thing that helps me is exercising in the morning. And I know you're not a morning person.
I am not a morning person. You ever see my posts? I'm like, literally, my eyes are still kind of glued shut. But I still get it done. But I have to say, some days, like, I don't shower till, like, the evening because I'm in my workout clothes all day, because I'm trying to get to the workout, versus when I do it right when I wake up, it's done and the day's started. So I would agree.
Yeah, I just think that you start to get things start to fill up your day, and you can get, you know,
the uncontrollable comes in versus starting that morning and getting it done. So you worked out already today. Yeah. What did you do today?
Today I did yoga.
Okay. So you do a little bit of everything?
I do.
Okay.
Yep. And I work out in my basement most of the time. I get up at 4:45. I know, that's crazy. I know. But I have to do it before my kids get up, and then I like to be totally ready before I walk out the door. And that way I can do, have my whole day. Otherwise...
You're not the first woman that I've interviewed that has stated, like, that's how they operate. They're up before everyone else.
Yep.
And they get themselves prepared mentally, physically, emotionally, so that they can handle the day.
Yeah.
This makes sense. Yeah.
I know. If you can get up.
And it's a practice, too. I don't, don't feel bad about not doing, or it's just, one thing.
Yeah.
Do one thing. I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
So how do you bring beauty into it? Because Anna, it does have she's a makeup artist as well.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell by the beautiful face.
You're sweet. But, well, I think it's about something that my grandma actually taught me is that you can't, you have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of anybody else. And I think that has always sort of stuck in my mind. If your kids see you caring about, not about what you look like, but about taking care of yourself, taking time for yourself, taking a minute for things that you love or that are important to you. And for me, it's important. I've been a makeup artist for a long time, over 10 years. And so, I got in habit of it because when I went out, I felt like I was like a walking billboard for myself, and I didn't want to not have makeup on. There's the makeup artist who looks like a hot mess, right? So it was sort of that, I think, that really made me conscious of it. But I feel like when I go out to the store, when I do whatever, I feel better if I'm put together. Because inevitably, if I'm like a hot mess in my yoga pants, she says she's so bad at taking care of herself first. Yeah, I know.
You're not the only one.
You're not.
Jess. Yeah.
It's so common.
And it's I think there are some seasons of life where it's harder than others, and you have to give yourself some grace, and it's
Absolutely.
not, it's more about looking at how do you feel? Maybe it's not the full ensemble, but you did your hair or you put on something that made you feel good.
Right. Right. And maybe it's not even physical. Maybe it's I sat down and had a cup of coffee alone and just take a minute for yourself. I run into a lot of women who are like, I don't have 5 minutes to do my makeup.
Do you call bullshit on them?
Yeah. I'm like, if you don't have 5 minutes, you need to reevaluate your life. Yeah. Same with, I don't have time to eat healthy. Well, how can you make time? Because, and I don't like to get fussy with people, but there's nothing on your calendar that you didn't allow to be there. And so I think that's something that people need to really get real with themselves about, and it's just not a priority.
Right.
I'm sure you spent 20 minutes on Instagram today. Did you have time to,
I know I do. This is something that totally I'm part of that category too. But I do find, and if I step back from where I was today, where I was 10 years ago, I've made huge progress, and I feel really good. And it is all about just not getting overwhelmed with all that we're saying. Start with one thing that you feel that you could do, and start scheduling it into the calendar. Start making it yourself the priority.
Yeah.
I think we all need to hear what you're saying. You need a little tough love, and you need a little it's like good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, and it's not that I'm trying to be tough. I just think women don't allow themselves to have that time, and they think I don't have time. And what happens often is we need a break, and so we zone out on something. So whether it's you zone out on the Today Show in the morning, or you zone out on your phone scrolling through, is it serving you?
I know a lot of women that say they get through their whole day, and then they finally it's 10 o'clock, they're exhausted, and then they're watching they zone out, and then it's 2 a.m. You know what I mean? Because they wait till that long to have that peace and quiet when really they're tired. It's and it's that morning. It's flip-flopping it. Take the time in the morning.
Yeah, it's a perpetual cycle too, because then you're tired, and then you feel like you don't have time, and then you're sluggish, and then you don't eat right, and then you don't exercise because you're tired, and then the excuses come in, and then pretty soon you're feeling bad about yourself. But really, just saying I'm worth taking the time, 10 minutes to go for a walk, or sit and have a cup of coffee, or, you know, put on mascara if that makes you feel good. Like, if it doesn't, who cares? Like, you don't have to do that, but you know, find what works for you and what makes you feel like your best self, because when you feel good, you're better to your kids, your family, the people around you.
That's 100% true.
You know, and I think
Absolutely.
that's something that, you know, we're just focused on taking care of our kids and rushing through life and all of that. And like, when you just take a minute to look around and appreciate what you have, then I think it's not as hard to make the time for yourself, you know?
So you got to claim that time that you're worth it and you deserve it, and then make yourself available to it.
Yeah.
Where can they find you, Anna? So you do programs, you do 30-day like clean cleanses and things like that. Where can they find you if they want to learn more about you?
So you can find me. So I love this clean health and wellness company, Arbonne, and that's I represent Arbonne. But I also I do makeup lessons. I do you know, a 30-day eating and wellness program. So you can find me at either annamitten.com, that's my website, or if you're looking at nutrition and makeup and skincare and that kind of thing, it's annamitten.arbonne.com. Or you can call me or text me, or PM me or whatever, Anna Mitten Beauty and Wellness on Facebook and Instagram. And my phone number is 303-941-6724. If you have questions, like I'm definitely not like, you have to do this. Like, that's not how I am. And sometimes people are like, oh, would you always have your makeup on? Like, I feel so bad I'm not wearing makeup. I'm like, shoot, if I felt like I could go out without makeup on, I would. But I'm weird like that. I feel like I can't ever.
Because it makes you feel good. I think I don't think you should apologize for that. I think you should represent yourself to your truest form, because we all are different. That used to trip me up, because I'd be like, well, I'm not living her life, so I must be doing it wrong. And that's not the case. But there's so many things we can learn from each other, and whatever resonates for you when you're watching this, that's what you need to take a hold of, and like, let it be your inspiration to move forward and do something with your day.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you you're like a true entrepreneur too. You know what I mean? Contact Anna if you want help with any of those things. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Do you have anything you want to end with? Or
no, I just think it's funny in hearing your story, and we have so many things in common with entrepreneurship and just taking charge of rewriting the story, and it doesn't have to fit into a certain box. And I think that's kind of what we're talking about today. It's like, find what works for you, and you know, when you're
so much easier. Yeah, so much, because you shouldn't edit out the things that are going to make you live a healthy life. Like, you need to tweak it so that you can do it and make it work. Yeah, for sure. I did the thing where I was like, I always used to be the person that hated working out. Hated it. And now I actually I really enjoy it, especially when I'm done it. I'm like, that was great. I feel so much better.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
If you know anyone that would like to, think this would be helpful for, definitely tag them in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, type replay so that we can say hi to you. That's it.
Awesome.
Talk
Have
to you
a
later.
great day.
Bye, guys. Oh, I don't know how to end it.